Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I'm Mondo here with Gator and Holmes. And on today's episode, we got studs and duds. We got Kyrie Irving and the Mavs, their whole catastrophe of an organization. We
Ah,
got off-season NFL moves, Saquon, free agents, you know the rest. And then we got the top five most disappointing sports franchises over the past year. Plain and simple, boys. Easy work.
let's get it going.
All right. Holmes, let's kick it off with you. Who's your stud from this weekend?
All right, man. I am honestly going to take a whole team. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Lakers because pretty much since they have acquired Luka Doncic, and we didn't really think this at the outset, they have been on fire. I'm pretty sure at the time that they acquired him, seventh place they were in the West. They were in the playoffs. They were in a decent spot. They have rocketed all the way up to the second place in the Western Conference. I think since Luka's debut, they lost the two games following that game. They haven't lost since. Pretty sure they've rattled off 5 or 6 straight wins. They play tonight against the Pelicans. Another opportunity for a win there against a horrid team. But man, the Lakers acquiring Luka Doncic, pairing him with LeBron, boy, they've been almost unstoppable since.
Gary Gowdy.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about this one, but this is going to be a niche one, but also not too niche. So the winner of the Cognizant Classic, Mr. Joe Highsmith, I mean, his like after the round interview is the reason I picked this. It was they were interviewing his wife, and apparently he told his wife he was like, "Look, if after 9 holes I'm off the lead by like more than 5 strokes, like just leave, go home, like don't even worry about it." Man comes out and he wins the tournament. And then he's like, well, unfortunately for my wife, she had to stay the entire time, but hey, we got some money. Like, good for you, bro. He got a hole in one during the tournament, which is electric. He's gotten three in his PGA career, I think in the past like 5 years, which is I think tied for most.
Incredible.
So yeah, way to bring his name out in the light and excited to see what he does. He's a bucket hat wearer, or not really a bucket hat, but he wears one of the big brim ones. So man's got style.
All right. My stud is the University of Tennessee. Unfortunately for us, they are good at basketball, taking down Bama, and their baseball team is also pretty good.
Yes.
So as much as I hate putting it on the graphic, it is worth pointing out because they are dominating the hell out of two sports right now. Holmes, give me your dud.
I was gonna I was gonna take somebody here, but I have a very strong feeling that Garrett's gonna take Will Howard. So I'm not gonna say Will Howard.
I'm
All right,
not,
you're
I'm
not gonna say
not.
Will Howard? All
No,
right, bro.
say
I'm gonna take Will Howard then. If anybody saw quite a few clips of this man's combine performance over the weekend, no bueno. Man was not hitting passes. Man was not looking nearly as accurate as he was with Ohio State all season. I mean, frankly, his entire career with Kansas State and Ohio State, he did not look the part. And that is definitely going to be a hit to his stock because I think that was the guy coming in that had the most like dark horse potential to be a guy that could maybe start, maybe be a solid backup, depending on what kind of round you can get him in. But who he is going to need to show out at his pro day now and make sure the scouts see that his arm isn't actually a noodle like it looked like at the combine.
brutal.
Gare.
Yeah, we're gonna flip it over to the world of WWE. That's never happened on this show, but Mr. Cody Rhodes is this week's dud. And I
Crazy.
like I don't know anything about wrestling, but what I do know is he got the shit slapped out of him by Travis Scott. And I thought
Yeah,
that
he
was
did.
like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Close second though, which is one that I like kind of wanted to talk about because y'all didn't react to it, which I was kind of surprised. That clip I sent from Twitter of the Crystal Palace player, his name's John Philippe. He got absolutely cleated to the face by the goalie of this other soccer team, completely intentional, and he had to be taken off the field on a stretcher. So that was, yeah, close second. But Cody Rhodes, yeah, he got the shit slapped out of him by Needle Dick Travis, which is kind of funny.
You know, the
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. the My dud is the Mavericks fan base. I cannot picture a worse time to be a fan of a single franchise This might take the cake.
Yep.
AD hurt, Luca traded, Kyrie ACL, ticket prices going up. I mean, I can't think of a worse situation to be in than a Mavericks fan. I genuinely can't. I wanted to open it up to you guys because I know there's going to be a lot of changes ahead. More specifically, the Mavs title odds dropped from 66 to 1 to 200 to 1, I think was the number. So not great. If you're a Mavericks fan, I'm sorry. I don't really know what else to tell you. You guys have it tough. I'd keep calling for Nico Harrison's head. I really don't know what else to say about it. It's pitiful.
I mean, I agree with you. This is just a season you want to forget, throw away. I wish it never existed. I mean, this is just horrible for Mavericks fans. It has been a downhill pretty much spiral ever since the season has began. Obviously, the trade with Luca and everything that has happened since then with AD going down, and just last night, or I guess it was today, ACL getting blown out by Kyrie Irving. He is done for the season, probably done for next season too, given how serious an ACL is and how much it's definitely needed in the game of basketball. It just sucks to see, man. At least kind of now as a Mavericks fan, like you can now just fully give up. You just don't even have to be invested anymore. I mean, there is absolutely no reason to watch anything to do with the rest of the season. And maybe when you traded Luca and you got AD, you were like, man, this really sucks, but we got to see what the team's going to look like. How are we going to look like with AD, with the new Lakers additions? How's it all going to gel? Dude, with AD and Kyrie out now, there is 0 point in watching this team, zero excitement. Dallas fans, yeah, man, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry, dude.
I'd argue it's worst case scenario. Like you're hoping that the team does terrible once you acquire AD in hopes that you get rid of your dumbass GM,
Yeah,
and then both players go and get hurt, and now it's the what if.
that
It's
is
going to be
true.
the what if for the rest of the time,
Yeah.
and that might just be worse than them being outright terrible and Luca averaging close to a triple double. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just as someone who has always been plagued by the what if scenarios are going to suck. So get ready for that.
I mean, yeah, in a sense, it's going to buy Nico Harrison maybe another year because they're not going to be able to put those guys out on the floor together this year. How are you going to see what it looks like? You're not going to see your trade come to fruition this year. Yeah, that sucks.
Frustrating. Care anything?
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't even really say this, but I went to Mardi Gras this weekend in NOLA, and right now I'm just kind of a shell of a man. So my brain is just making it. I was in the car yesterday from 10 a.m. till about 1 a.m. Um, and then I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning to go to the gym and be ready for work. But yeah.
Great, great story.
Okay, hold on. It took you that long to drive?
Well, we stopped in Gainesville, because I had to we rode together from Gainesville. So when we came back, it was like an accident, and then like Gainesville was packed out for whatever reason, and then I stayed there and I was talking to Hollander for a little bit. Now we're going down a rabbit hole of Chi-Fi stuff, but yeah, saw the boys, whatever, and then I left, and then there was of course traffic in Orlando, so that's always lovely. Um,
How
but
was Mardi Gras? Was it like an actual
oh,
party there or
dude, it
Oh, it's a
was
party.
actually the most electric. Okay, so we went to Baton Rouge, which is really cool. I'd never been there before. Really cool town. Really quiet too, which was kind of surprising. But they have a pink parade they do there. I got hit in the head by a vibrator that was thrown off of a float, which was kind of funny. So that one's a little bit more quirky of a parade, to say the least. Then we went to NOLA. I actually saw Shaq on the float. He was the ringleader of the parade that they did in NOLA, and he was on this big ass golden throne. So that was pretty cool to see him. Never seen him before. But dude, it's a party. It is definitely a big party. Like everybody's getting down with each other, and that was what I really loved the most because there were fraternities from UF there, which was kind of cool to see. But there were also fraternities from LSU there. So we were chirping back and forth, but all in all, it was like Everybody was just there to have a good time. I mean, it felt really safe, but that was one thing that was a weird takeaway from it. Post what happened there on New Year's Day, now that they have road blockers and they have like military police with like big ass guns like around every corner. And I remember seeing like snipers on the roofs of the hotels during the NOLA parade. So that was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. But it also made you feel like, dude, if some shit pops off here, like it's not getting
Chilling.
far, you know what I mean? So, but it was cool, but I would never want to go again. 100%. It's dirty.
So anything about the Mavericks or
I mean, like honestly, Kyrie, like that was a sad clip to see, like, when he's like, "Thank you, God," and then he's done. It's like you could basically put a bow on it. I mean, he's old enough that, there is definitely room for the conversation of will he, come back, who knows? Um, but this is definitely a brutal injury to suffer this late in the game, especially for somebody like Kyrie. I mean, I feel like he doesn't deserve that, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, he did get his Mamba moment though, hitting both free throws, crying his whole way through it. That was I mean, as far as shitty endings, that was a pretty cool way to end it. You
yeah.
know? Um it's so funny, Holmes.
He's like, that's a shitty way to end it. I don't know. The way he said it is amazing.
All right, let's take it over to the NFL. Let's get off the sorry ass Mavericks team. There has been a lot going on in the NFL over the past couple weeks, more specifically the past couple days, and more specifically today. Saquon Barkley, $41.2 million extension. He will be the highest paid running back in NFL history.
As he
He
should.
also has an option for an additional 15 million through incentives. The guy is, I mean, I don't know where the Eagles get the money. I, I
Howie
don't
Roseman
know.
just keeps pulling it out of his ass. I don't know. I really don't know.
But yeah, I mean that's easily the biggest move of free agency so far. Also, the Bears doing what about half the league needs to do right now. They boost their O line. They get Jonah Jackson from the Rams, absolute stud of a tackle. So Nick Lip, if you're watching, shout out you. You just got a good left tackle. Congratulations.
I'm gonna let
Um,
this bitch fly.
but
That was
with
so brutal.
NFL free agency, the most pivotal thing to talk about is where is everyone going to go? So I put together a list of four guys. I want you to give me where you think they're going and why, or I guess what's the reason that they would go there.
Oh God.
So, Gare, we're going to start with you. Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I knew this one was coming. Send him to the Chiefs
Why?
because D Hop is washed. That ass. Like, I mean, seriously, what did D Hop do last season? I feel like that was such a stupid ass addition by the Chiefs. Like, he had a couple plays, but like, other than that, like, I feel like he's just gonna use his paycheck on hair maintenance and keep it pushing. Like, so, pick up Devontae and see what happens. I mean, who wants Devontae though? Like, after the attitude that he had, and then he comes out and it was the perfect scenario for him. It was everything he wanted. He had his quarterback back. He's like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna do all this crazy shit. Ass. Like, bro, nobody wants him. Like, just you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense or no?
No,
Like,
I get you. I hear you. I wanted to see if Holmes would jump in there and see what he thinks.
I'm not saving him with the Chiefs, I'll tell you that much. I really only have two places I think he could go. I think the number one is he follows Aaron Rodgers wherever he goes. So that could be really anywhere. Number two, honestly, he could end up back with the Packers. Packers don't have a number one wide receiver. They really haven't since he's left. I mean, I think that would be a massive addition for him to go back there. And Jordan Love getting a big, big weapon out in Green Bay. He goes back to where he started his career. Maybe that's where he wants to finish it. Kind of an interesting thing to think about there. I mean, and from what I understand, it's not like he has any bad blood with Jordan Love or anything like that. He's just, always really been best friends with Aaron Rodgers and kind of just went his separate way because he wanted to get paid and the Raiders paid him. So, kind of when that happened, I don't think in my opinion, don't think that there's any ill will there with the Packers. So I could totally see that as an option.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think Packers would probably be top two with me. I think the other one that I really liked was the idea of him going to LA and going to the Chargers. I think it would
Ooh,
be a great pair with Lad. They get their extra receiver. Harbaugh knows how to flex it around the field. I
hmm.
think that could be a sneaky destination for Devontae Adams. I
Yeah, I
also
like that.
think it likely won't be the Packers because I heard the Packers are very much in on DK Metcalf. So that could also be an issue coming up.
That's
That
true.
would be crazy.
Yeah, I don't know that Packers fans are going to like this. I really don't. But player number two, Holmes, we'll start with you. Sam Darnold.
This is a tough one because I mean, I'm gonna give Sam Darnold the credit, man. He looked really good last season, and for a dude that was just kind of put in a shit situation when he came into the league, and obviously did not perform very well, kind of been like put on the back burner ever since. It was good for him to kind of get that redemption story last year with the Vikings. But this year is there's the problem is that there's I feel like four or five different teams out there that could be vying for a quarterback, and I'm really unsure as to which ones are going to be going the drafting route or which ones are going to try to go with the 1 2 year bridge quarterback route to just make it work for right now. I kind of think the Raiders is one of the best options for him. I don't necessarily think that the Raiders are in a position where they're going to get a quarterback to start immediately in the draft. But I think they do want that little bit of like bridge area there because their team, I think, is also nowhere near good enough right now to just throw a rookie quarterback onto there and think that they're going to compete. So you got to give the team at least a year or two to kind of get some pieces built around whoever they're looking to for the future. But I think Raiders should probably be the most likely fit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know. Honestly, Minnesota didn't tag him, but I feel like who's to say that he wouldn't wind up back there? And the reason I say that is because I feel like the price that's on his head now for somebody to have him is much higher than what it would have been, post, this previous season. And the question is a team going to be willing to spend the quarterback money, because that's going to come with a price, so it's like I feel like the Vikings could play it safe and, just kind of be like, this is where your home was and maybe kind of use that to their advantage. Um, but like I honestly think he'll stay there. I don't think he would leave, and I don't think anybody's gonna shell out the money it's gonna cost to get him.
Yeah, I mean, I my options were between both of those. I leaning more towards the Raiders. I feel like the Vikings are gonna invest in JJ McCarthy. Um, but that's again the Vikings. Like we don't know what they're gonna do. They are very like they are probably the one domino that needs to fall for the rest of this all to get figured out. So whatever they do, I hope it happens soon because we need some more NFL news. The next one, Khalil Mack. Gare, where's Khalil Mack gonna go?
Um, I mean, dude, I've just not been following anything that's been going on. I
Come
don't
on,
know.
just throw a team out there.
Fucking the
There,
Commanders.
there you go. I mean,
All
I'll take
right,
that.
good job, Gare.
Good
Holmes.
option. Good option. Shoot, man, I'm throwing my own team out there. I'll throw the Bucks out there. I listen. I do think that this is a good position for him to be in. If the Bucks are able to bring Khalil Mack in, obviously veteran guy, getting a little bit older, this is a guy that you can have come in, maybe not for the long term, maybe for a year, two, maybe even three if you're willing to put that much stock into him, but have him work with the younger guys, the younger edge rushers, the younger outside linebackers. Get these guys some experience because I love the younger players that we have, but Levante David isn't going to be there forever. Vita Vea is, in that prime as that guy is, like he's not going to be there forever, and he plays nose tackle. So I want to have a guy on that edge, get a lot of veteran experience in there, bring a little bit to the younger guys on this defense that need a little bit more of that development, to just get better each and every year. Because our defense, that's the thing that we're going to hang our hat on, especially if Todd Bowles is going to continue to be our coach. Defense is going to be our number one thing. So bringing in Khalil Mack, I think that could be a pretty good piece for the Bucks.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say the same thing, but for the Dolphins, I think Khalil Mack is going to be a beast no matter what this season, maybe the next two, like you were saying, but he really just needs to get around a young core. And I think, Jalen Phillips could learn a lot from Khalil Mack being on the team. He knows how to lead well, he knows how to take charge in different situations. I personally would love seeing Khalil Mack in Dolphins uniform, but who's to say? He could land literally in all 32 teams. All right, the final one. What's so funny, Gare?
Nothing. I felt like I
We're
was making. I don't know, dude. Just yeah. Yeah.
we're
You know what I'm
starting with you
saying?
on this one, so hopefully you could spit out a fucking answer here.
Alrighty.
Where is Chris Godwin gonna go, Gary Gowdy?
Dude,
Mhm.
that well actually I could maybe think about this one. I don't know, dude. I mean, because like after watching his performance with the Bucks over really the past year and a half since Bucky came, like Bucky is the Messiah that we needed, bro. Like he is the guiding light. Like, thank God we have him. And, it's just he took the limelight away from Godwin. Whenever I was thinking about potentially betting an anytime TD, I was no longer looking at him. I was looking at Bucky. So it's hard to say because he's also getting older. Hmm. What about the Jags?
You think he'll go to the Jags?
Why not? Keep it in Florida and your career in Florida. The Jags need anything and everything they can get right now because they are ass. Give them a little bit of veteran experience. Why not?
Why not, Holmes?
I think the dude's got to come back to the Bucks, man. 100%. I think we're going to do everything we can to re-sign
Ass.
him, but like I just don't know if we're going to be able to find the cap space is the problem. The good thing is I don't think he should be getting paid anywhere near a maximum right now, especially with the season-ending injury last year. Like as unfortunate as that is, like you have to be able to take that into consideration. It's not like he balled out and played an entire season last year. He balled out for half a season, but he wasn't even available for the other half. So you kind of have to take that into consideration a little bit more. Maybe we're putting a 1 year tag deal out there so he comes back, gives him that prove it year, and then if that's what he's able to put on film, this what he needs to get paid, then boom, you get paid next year. But if the Bucks don't do it, I think the Patriots are probably the next option. I know I've heard they're gonna like sign every wide receiver under the sun that's gonna be a free agent this year. But I do think that would probably be a pretty decent landing spot for him. He could slot in as a one, he could slot in as a two, depending on who else they sign or what they want to plan to do with him. But for a guy that has great hands, he's able to run incredible routes. Like he's probably a very, very good fit for a young quarterback in Drake May.
Yeah, I could see that. I could also see him going to the 49ers. Like I think they're looking to fill a hole with Debo going to Washington.
It's
I
true.
could definitely see Godwin going there, but if it's not that, like I think it's very clear the Bucks want him back.
Hmm.
I get he might be a little bit expensive, but I mean, he's grown up in your franchise. He belongs there. Like
Yeah.
he should be staying there his whole career. Um, let's move on. Gentlemen, the top five most disappointing sports teams in the last year.
Hell yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Dude, I'll take it.
Holmes.
I'm game to take it. All right. So again, I have these in no particular order, but I did pick one from each of the major sports and then one from college football. So we'll start at the top. We'll start with basketball in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns. Oh my God, what a disappointment of a team this last year. Swept in the first round last year against the Timberwolves. I think they're 11th place in the West right now. I could be wrong on that because I did my research on this last week, and they probably have gotten worse since then. They were 27 and 31 last I checked. Bradley Beal has not been healthy pretty much ever since they have acquired him. He's not able to consistently stay on the court and provide them any type of scoring, playmaking, anything that they thought he was going to bring over from the Wizards. So that whole experiment of Durant, Beal, Booker, it has just kind of gone down the toilet. Their aspirations for winning a championship, they have not even come close to those. And the NHL, obviously, there's really only one team to pick here, and it's the Toronto Maple Leafs because they do it every damn year. They had another first round loss to the Bruins last year in the playoffs. With all the talent that they have, Reeves, Nylander, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Tyler Bertuzzi, like they've had one playoff series win. It was against the Lightning. Since 2004, they've had no Stanley Cup win since 1967. I mean, this team that is supposed to be one of the most storied franchises in all of hockey is just continually chokers every single year in the playoffs, and I love watching it. It's hilarious, honestly. Over to baseball and the MLB. I'm taking the Seattle Mariners. This is kind of a weird one, but for me, like this team, I feel like just comes in with a lot of high expectations every year. Especially last year, they missed their playoffs. They just had subpar performance all year long. Like they have a lot of great talent, especially Julio Rodriguez gets pretty much a ton of the press over in Seattle. But like, their pitching staff, Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, Andres Munoz, George Kirby. They even have who's it? Jackson Kowar, former Florida Gator. Like they have a lot of talent on that pitching staff, and they can't for some reason pull it together. And even some of the guys that they have in their lineup too, like Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, Randy Arozarena, they just got last year. They seemingly cannot put the pieces together every year. They were 85 and 77 last year, just incredibly mediocre for I feel like all the hype that they get every year. We're gonna go to football now. We'll start with the NFL. The New York Jets. Guys, this is just self-explanatory. I'm not gonna go too deep into this. They had an elite defense, and they just performed lackluster. They had Aaron Rodgers coming back from injury. He was supposed to be the savior, take him to the playoffs, take him to the Super Bowl, and as we know, they did not even get close. Give Aaron Rodgers everything he wants with Allen Lazard and Devontae Adams, and they still cannot cook. So New York Jets still poverty. And in college football, the Utah Utes. Boy, this team had like the massive, massive fall from grace this year. 13th in the Big 12. 13th in the Big 12. Yikes. Yeah, 5-7 record. I mean, this team was picked to win the conference at the beginning of the season. Cam Rising still can't stay healthy. He's, I think, out of college football at this point. He should be ninth year playing college football. Get this guy out. They were ranked number 12 in the preseason and
Oh
lost
shit.
seven straight after starting the season 4-0. Pathetic performance by Utah last year.
That was funny as hell. Number 13 in the Big 12.
Number 13 in the just take a second to just think about being the 13th team in the Big 12. Yeah, yeah, dude, that sucks.
Sounds like a bad tattoo or something.
Yeah,
Like,
that's for real.
no regrets.
No regrets.
Gare, let's hear yours.
Oh, fuck me. Actually, number one, we're gonna go with the Rays. I feel like just overall, we've just lost so much, just so much, like pitching, the stadium, morality. Like, I don't really know what's going on anymore. Where are we gonna play tomorrow? It's like we're homeless essentially. Which is never really a good feeling. It's honestly kind of sad. And then watching them throughout spring training over the past couple weeks, it just does not look good. Number two, fuck me, dude. Here we go. Yes. So number two, I'm gonna go with the Jags, bro. I'm sorry. I had a long day at work and had no time to prep, but I'm gonna go with the Jags. T-Law just had an absolute shit year. And they actually ended up finishing below the Panthers, which is something you do if you're the worst team ever. So I'm gonna give it to them. And number three, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. Sorry, Mondo, but really it was just injury bug as well as just things going around the team and drama surrounding the team that I feel like ultimately led to the Dolphins just kind of having a mediocre season. I'm gonna kick it over to NHL. I'm gonna give it to the San Jose Sharks literally have the worst record in the NHL right now by a long shot. And I don't know if you've ever watched them play hockey, but it I think that if the three of us played, we'd probably do better than them. And then this is gonna be a really hot take, I think, ish, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Florida Gators football.
That's a terrible take.
I don't know what it was. It was just like watching this season, the way everything started, the way we finished was perfect. But the beginning, I just feel like we should have immediately gave it to Lagway and gave him the reins and just said to hell with Graham Mertz. And that was the only reason I said that. Because I just feel like in the beginning, whenever we were switching back and forth between quarterbacks, we saw that in the past with Felipe and what's his name that ended up going to ASU. Why can't I think of his name?
Emory Jones?
Yeah, Emory Jones. Didn't they switch off back and forth whenever? Yeah. Or no, was that Kyle Trask?
No, it was Emory and
Try.
AR.
Was it?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because then they would switch him out like as a running quarterback, and I just don't like it whenever a team does that. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna trust one quarterback to do one thing and then another quarterback to do another, it's just like, why not, give the kid that has more time to better his game, full control. So that's why I said that.
Okay. All right. Number five, we have Miami sports teams. Notice how I said Miami. This does not include the Florida Panthers. The Miami Marlins, hot ass.
Hot ass.
Miami Heat, lost Jimmy Butler, had a lot of drama, hot ass. The Miami Dolphins, coming off a playoff season. We're supposed to be better than ever this year. Hot ass. The triple hot ass magnet lands them at number five on my list. At number four, we go to the MLB where we have the Chicago White Sox.
Oh God, good
You
one.
can't win 20 games and not make this list. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a
As
good
low
one.
as your expectations were, holy shit, you failed those two. I can't believe how bad of a team this little group has become.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Throw them out the MLB. Terrible.
Inject him into the
The
sun.
little group.
number number three, shocker, the Dallas Mavericks land themselves on this fucking list. Shall we recap what I was saying earlier? Luca traded superstar. You're an idiot for trading him. AD instantly hurt. Kyrie tears an ACL. And then the nut sack on your front office to raise ticket prices by 8%.
Insanity.
Holy hell, that is blasphemy.
Insanity.
And number two,
Oh,
Holmes, to quote you, I don't have to say shit about this one. The New York Jets. Oh my God. What a clusterfuck. And at number one, we have the wonderful, the gorgeous, the shithole, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a terrible team. They drop all this money on third tier wide receivers in the offseason. And man, did they underdeliver. That's the 5-1 you're looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah. Hear ye, hear ye.
All right. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.